Yes! I can't believe it. Scott McTominay with a brace in the last 4 minutes of injury time to give Man United a lifeline to save Erik ten Hag's job. There is no doubt about that. What euphoria, what a moment. Season saving, job saving. And it gives the team a chance to go again because it wasn't a great day in the office today. And we're going to delve into that in more detail. A sensational comeback by Manchester United. An absolutely godly comeback by Chelsea as well. We'll be delving into that on the full fan highlight show for you right now. But what have we just witnessed? Man United again dominating the ball. Mistakes at the back costing us. A team looking like its heads had gone. And the manager made the right substitutions. We were knocking on the door. The performances today from the likes of Collins and Pinnock at the back, the goalkeeper of Brentford, were absolutely sensational. And it appeared that Man United, for the first time in the Premier League history, were about to lose 3 games on the bounce at home. And United was staring down the barrel. An up-step Scott McTominay doesn't rewrite his history at Manchester United. It doesn't change what we need to improve moving forward. But putting that aside, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity to us. Because for me, the manager was on the edge of being sacked. He was staring down the barrel of his 7th defeat in 11 games this season. And I want to deep that to you. Man United in all competitions last campaign only lost 12 matches. And for a lot of us, that was too much. That was too many defeats. There's no doubt about it. That was too many defeats. However, it was his first season. It was the start of a rebuild. So you go, okay, let's move on next year. You can't be at 7 defeats inside the first 11 games because at that run rate, what are you going to lose 20 games, 25 games in a season? They had to win today, Man United, and they found a way. There's lots that need to improve. There's lots that needs to be focused on. There's lots that need to be addressed. Onana needs to be benched. Let's get this absolutely right. Onana needs to be on that bench. It was another horrendous goalkeeping error. And the maddest bit is he made more difficult saves later in the game. You know, you have some goal scorers who only score great goals. They don't really score a lot of goals. That's what I feel Onana's like. The frustrating thing is this is not the goalkeeper that I saw at Inter. This isn't the goalie that I predominantly saw at Ajax. This is a man who is really struggling right now at Man United. And I look at the manager and think, you need to do something to help him. Casemiro, he's someone that I wanted to see with better players around him, a more secure midfield around him. He hasn't improved. Staffy was right. Maybe not about selling him to see if he can turn it around, but he has been horrendous. And 110% needs to be dropped. I thought Rashford had another stinker. I really felt he had another stinker. I felt he had an absolutely shocking, horrendous performance again. And he shouldn't have started this game. So there's 3 players there that shouldn't be on the football pitch. I think we got it wrong with Delot and Lindelof on the wrong sides, because at least Lindelof, if he gets the ball on the right, could cross it. Can't cross with his left. So poor mistake there by the manager. And there was lots of mistakes in this game. There was lots of mistakes. Starting Bruno on the right-hand side again was absolutely horrendous. And as I say, he was staring down the barrel of being sacked. And I know there's a lot of Man United fans that don't like to admit this. I get called out a lot for it. So how dare you say that, Terry? But he absolutely was. And at the end of the day, we can look at Casemiro's form, Onana being a bad buy, Amrabat being a bad buy, Mount being a bad buy, Rashford never being good enough, Bruno never being good enough, Maguire still being at the club, the team not working hard enough, the team not getting back into shape, the consistent mistakes that lead to goals. We can look at all these things and say that this is all just individual problems, but it all stems down to one thing for me. There's a problem at the club. Occam's razor. The simple and the easiest explanation is often true, and I think the manager is on his way to losing this team. Now, maybe, just maybe, this comeback can be a catalyst for things to change. But for things to change, you have to make change. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Casemiro needs time on the bench. I don't care how good he is. I don't care about your CV. I don't care that you just bought Onana. I don't care what Rashford did last year. I don't care what Bruno done the past 3 to 4 years. All those guys need dropping. Other people need opportunities to shine in this team. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. The manager today, let's just call it right. Let's just call it out for what it is. Erik ten Hag caught life today. And of all people, it was Scott McTominay, somebody that he wanted to sell and remove from the football club in the summer. And I think a lot of us would agree with that decision. But he was saved today by someone that didn't want him at the football club. And this should be a learning curve for the manager. This should be a learning curve for the manager. I need to make some changes. I think the fans are right on this. The players that we want dropped and the players we want to be given opportunities to, I think, by and large, are absolutely spot on. I think he has to address the way we play as well. I don't think we are ready. Listen, we had a lot of the ball again today. We conceded the ball, though, because we're trying to play more expansive football. The goal again today was because of that. Most of our goals this season have come from transitional attacks or mistakes in possession and 3 terrible goalkeeping saves. The vast majority are coming like that. We're rarely being cut through. Spurs did it to us, as an example. And even with Wolves, they weren't cutting through us with play. It was transitions. We need to go back to sitting deeper, being more compact, and being a little bit more pragmatic in terms of what we do. That is how the manager turns around and saves a season for himself, because it is salvageable. The season, you look at the league table right now, we're sitting 4 points off of 4th. Liverpool might win tomorrow, so that makes it a little bit harder. Suddenly you're 7 points, but that's still doable at this stage. So Champions League football next year. And of course, we're still in 3 cup competitions. But if the overall performance of today remains, the manager will be sacked, should be sacked soon, and the season is done. This is not consistent. There's no consistency to these performances that will enable the form to change. And a lot of people will say, but Terry, you don't believe the sacking of the manager will improve Man United in the long run. No, I don't. But that doesn't mean he should keep his job indefinitely. This is a nuanced conversation. Polarized people have no place in this conversation because they're just wrong. Us not improving in the long term with these owners doesn't mean we shouldn't sack a manager who loses 7, 8, 9, 10 games if he's opening 12 to 15 matches. And we will lose more games if we continue to play like this and pick the wrong personnel. I want to shout out Brentford today for what was from them an absolute stellar performance. They will walk away from this feeling very, I'm not going to say hard done by, but they will feel gutted. They will feel absolutely gutted with how this game turned out for them. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. They will. You know, there'll be that element. But do you know what's funny about it? I've seen it happen a few times this season where teams time waste a lot and they're caught a cropper late in the game. The irony is, if they hadn't have been time wasting, so there was barely any reason to have time on in the second half. Barely any reason. Those extra 2 to 3 minutes came from their time wasting. There's some irony in that. The time wasting in the end is literally what helped save Manchester United. The irony. But look, they put in a stellar performance. That there'll be a lot of disappointed people in West London this afternoon. There's no doubt they'll probably feel that they deserved it. And a lot of rivals of Man United will probably agree with that. Massive congratulations to Scott McTominay. What you did today, my friend, was season and job saving for the manager. It's now on Ten Hag to turn this around. We may not be good enough with this ownership. We may not be good enough to win the Premier League. That's done already this season, as far as I'm concerned, even challenging. But we know we can still make top 4. We know that we can still go on long unbeaten runs. We've done it in the league. He has got to change. He has got to sacrifice what he's trying to do because it isn't working. Certain players need to be dropped. Other individuals need to be given a chance and an opportunity. By the end of the game, we were far more balanced. And it wasn't just with the personnel on the pitch in terms of their natural positions. It was because we had people on the pitch that are in better form than the individual that started. All those things are massively key. Now, look, we are going to speak Chelsea on this show as well today. Of course we are. What a performance from Chelsea Football Club today. They were absolutely tip-top. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. They were absolutely tip-top. Sorry about that. I've left my VPN on again. That's what I've done. The VPN has been left on again, so it should sort itself out now. But yeah, listen, Chelsea were absolute quality today. The way in which they turned the game around, they're starting to score goals. They're starting to deliver. And we all get predictions right. We all get predictions wrong. I seem to get a lot of my Man United predictions wrong. Maybe I'm too emotional. But everything I've said about Chelsea is starting to come to fruition. The manager needed to make changes. The manager needed to get these young boys playing. And when he did, you would see a steady growth. You would see a steady growth of progression. And some will say it's only Burnley. You know, it's only been Fulham. It's only been Brighton. Well, I actually think they've played some tough games in the last 4 matches. To win 3 matches, to win 3 on the bounce, to go from scoring 1 goal to 2 goals to 4 goals. Cole Palmer coming alive, as an example. Jackson scoring again. These things are all massive, massive positives for Chelsea. They really are. They move up in the league to 10th. Now, I know that Arsenal Spurs fans go, 10th. Listen, watch out for Chelsea. They are starting to pick up pace. They are starting to get ahead of steam. They really, really are. Keep your eye out for them. They've got a really tough run of fixtures coming up soon, Chelsea. But with the way they're moving that ball, the way they're playing, if the confidence in terms of finishing arrives, we're going to be talking about them in the same breath we are Tottenham right now. We absolutely are. We absolutely are. The confidence is... I didn't ever feel that the issue was playing too many individuals out of position. The issue was very basic. They weren't taking their chances. They were conceding. And then the shoulders were dropping and the heads were dropping. Mentality. People have got... I still don't understand why on the mainstream media, on Match of the Day, we don't talk about the mindset of players more often. But when you read the books of all these great players, that's all they fucking speak about. None of them talk about all the extra yards they do speak about the extra yards they ran and the extra training they did, but they spoke about it from a mentality standpoint. This is why I became so much better, because I was doing this. And I had the determination to do it. You know, watching the David Beckham documentary, and the fact that this man as a young man didn't go out drinking, didn't go out with girls, he just played football. Mentality over ability. And this Chelsea team has got great ability. They've got a very good coach in Poch, there's no doubt about it. And now the confidence is coming back. Now they're starting to believe that they can win. It's all coming together. You've still got Cucurella and Levi Colwill out of position, as an example. You're still seeing Enzo play higher than anybody expected, which you would say is out of position, but they're delivering. It's because they're taking the chances, they're scoring their goals. Suddenly, the little holes and little issues that they have, and they will still have for a while, nobody's noticing because they're winning. When we lose, we typically overanalyze every little detail. Like I said earlier about Manchester United, this player did all these things that are going wrong. There's a belief issue at Man United that's the biggest issue, and that's stopping people from working hard. And if you work a bit harder, stay in your position, we wouldn't have conceded as many goals. Therefore, the pressure wouldn't have mounted, and we probably would have taken more chances. Chelsea are a prime example of that. And they were very, very good in their comeback today. There's no doubt about it. And of course, there'll be comments. It's only Burnley. It's only Burnley. It's only Burnley. That's boring. It's a boring response. It's a nonsensical response, because a lot of people predicted them to lose to Burnley, to lose to Fulham, to be knocked out the League Cup by Brighton. So you saying they shouldn't be happy, or we can't compliment them for winning, is nonsensical. Because there were games that many predicted them to lose. Certainly not scoring 4 in. So how does that work? This Chelsea team is only going to get better from this point. They really are. And there's some real standout performances. Sterling had another very good game. Been off the boil recently. I was surprised to see Mohamed Mudryk not start after how good he was against Fulham. But that decision from Poch played out perfectly. I thought the midfield typically had a good game again. I even thought defensively they weren't that bad. Like, it was hard for me to watch the whole game because United's were on it. We keep clashing. Chelsea and Man United at the moment seem to keep playing too regularly at the same time. But overall, watching their game at the same time, I know I'm not a Chelsea fan, so I'm not feeling the pressure like you all do. I just didn't, although Burnley counted a few times, they didn't look that dangerous to me. And yes, they scored, but I didn't think it was a particularly good goal. It kind of went through the legs of Cucurella. I thought the goalie could have done a little bit better. There's a few decent saves late on when they're already 3 and 4-1 up. And as I say, this Chelsea team has still got a lot of improvements to make. They've still got a number of players to come back from injuries as well. That's another sobering fact for rivals. But overarching, an excellent, supreme, godlike comeback from them. They get to go into, listen, what the great thing is now for Chelsea and Man United fans to a degree, we get to watch tomorrow, Brighton at Liverpool. We get to watch Arsenal versus City, a little bit relaxed. We can go into the international break. We can put, for a few days, maybe just put a little bit of stress aside. Enjoy the international break if you indeed can, and not be as worried. Man United have got a lot more to worry about than Chelsea because we've still got big performance issues. We absolutely do, but we know how to fix them. Certain players need dropping. We need to make a tactical change in how we approach games. Chelsea, as I've said already, they are going from strength to strength. Don't get that twisted. This here says, some respect on Sterling's name. We're back, baby, is what Dyke says here. Listen, I understand Chelsea fans saying they're back. I actually understand that being a sort of train of thought that you all have, because the performances are there. This isn't your winning smash and grab. You're performing very, very well indeed. So I completely understand that train of thought and that belief. Like also says, just our third win in 26 after going behind. It's crazy, isn't it? Chelsea of old, the stats would be much higher than that. And you're right, Cole Palmer, in early days, but looking like a very shrewd, very high quality piece of business. Kieran here is also a Chelsea fan, says Cole Palmer was a signing. What a signing up the Chelsea. Absolutely. This here says United really deserve that win. Happy for you, Terry. Bench Rashford from now on. Eric Ten Hag, play Garnacho. Again, Garnacho came on and just moved the needle. He just moved the needle so much more. And look, I'm confident Rashford will find his form again. I'm not someone who dislikes Rashford like others, but that doesn't mean I won't say drop him if he's playing poorly. I think Rashford's form could have returned if he'd been dropped 3 or 4 games ago. It's on the manager. He's mishandled this situation massively. Clay here says, anything other than silence gratitude out of Man United's fans is preposterous. Silence gratitude. I've never heard that expression before. I'm going to Google it. Silenced gratitude. Never heard anyone use that as a silenced gratitude. Does that mean not celebrating? Is that what you mean by it? Like we shouldn't celebrate a win? No, I'm not going to push that narrative at all. This here says, are Chelsea scary again? Come on, you Blues. Listen, bro, I've said this about Chelsea for a long time. My fear factor around Chelsea isn't particularly how they've been performing in the last year. It's what I think their owners are trying to build. And although they've made mistakes, I think they will get it right. You don't invest the level of money they have and you just go, fine, we're done, we're walking away. Especially not when you're an investment firm who at some point in 15, 20 years' time are going to want to make a profit from this club. At some point, they want to sell it for a profit. So not just going to walk away now and lose all that money. So yes, you are. Comeback Kings, United football heritage. Both clubs claim to that today. Bass says, I do not see any United fans celebrating this crap. The usual papering over crack, shameful performance. Ten Hag should be sacked for this. As I say, you should definitely be calling out the performance. I think people are still allowed to celebrate winning. I believe that is true. That's one for you, Fergie, on Fergie's term. On Fergie time, RIP Kathy Ferguson. Let me just say as well, I want to say this about Man United. I'm absolutely disgraced today that there was no minute silence for Kathy Ferguson. Sorry, Lady Kathy Ferguson. The club refused to do it. To read that made me sick. Now, I know that she didn't officially work for the football. Maybe she had some type of job there at some point. I know she's not officially connected to the football club, but she is the wife and she was the backbone and the support behind our club's greatest ever manager. Such an integral part of Sir Alex being who he was his wife. They were a partnership. They were a pair. To not pay homage to her outside of a tweet and just some armbands, I think, again, unless it turns out Sir Alex and his family said, no, we don't want that. The club has said no to it, like I've read on socials. I personally find that to be a disgrace. B here says, Palmer is what Havertz was supposed to be. I hear why you would say that, my friend. McTominay, a late winner merchant every time. Some brother, it is what it is. Reece James, Gusto, Badia Shield, Lavia, Chilwell, Wesley Fofana, and Nkunku still out. Yeah, lots of names to return, absolutely. George Sirizaguna says, congratulations on the win, Seri. How many new additions do you think you need in order to compete? Listen, we still need more players, but this is more about the system being adjusted. It isn't working right now. We go back to playing more how we did last year, we'll start winning more games. And he has to drop people that are not showing the desire and the hunger. He said it himself the other day, and this is why I was disappointed with the starting lineup. He said that since the Carabao Cup game, there's been a desire and hunger missing. We as fans can see the players have lost a bit. So drop them. Drop them. Bring in people that are going to push. As soon as we took certain man off today, there was an improvement. But then you're up against a team sitting back. And imagine we started with the team that won the game. I said Martial should start. I said Garnacho should start. I said Anthony should start. I would have taken the goalie off as well. The team that won us the game is pretty much the team I would have put on the field. McTominay extension, he's your best midfielder. Now, let's not go too far. Already done that one there from Dyke. I remember a certain Guna said Timber got injured for playing left back now because it was unnatural. Yet Cucurella is playing right back. Should be unnatural, no. Yeah, it's just nonsense. That was just Arsenal fans that don't like their manager. It was a lie. McTominay is not the mole then, Terry. I don't know what you mean. Stop getting gas, Chelsea and Man United. Get a few wins first. Well, Chelsea have got through. And listen, let's not be dragged out by a Liverpool fan here. You're allowed to celebrate. You're absolutely allowed to celebrate, people. I see in the chat, McTominay handball. No, there's no handball for McTominay. I haven't seen it. Either way, I don't care. United really deserved that. Already had that super chat done. The bill here says Ten Hag ain't going nowhere. Man United doesn't have the money to pay the compensation. Rashford needs dropping. Bruno needs to play in his position and Mount on the bench. Thank you very much, Nabil. He was 5 minutes away from getting sacked. I agree. Well, he's 5 minutes away from me thinking he should be sacked. I do agree with Nabil. Our owners would probably keep him. Being KJ on Mr. I take 45 points. He carried weak mentality and then talk about team's weak mentality. Amazing performance from Scott McTominay. And listen, KJ can answer this himself later, but KJ doesn't have a weak mentality as a person. Trust me, I know him very, very well. Liverpool fans celebrated 10-men comeback against Newcastle. United fans celebrated a comeback against Brentford. Levels. Remember watching Liverpool celebrate a 3-3 draw at home against West Brom, my bro. Give McTominay the number 7 shirt from Mount. He's a flop. Maguire assisted McTominay's goal. Surely you keep them. Let's not do this. This is the kind of win that boosts the morals of the morale of players. I think it certainly does, as long as you reward the right people from these games. And Chelsea's most definitely. Onana's 2 saves also kept us in the game. Yeah, listen, he made 2 good saves at the end. That doesn't make up for what he let in. And he's let too many of those weak shots in so far. He's made too many mistakes. He needs to be dropped. Like, I'm bringing the panel out now to have their say on the show, people. Make sure like buttons have been smashed, though. Let's get these likes up past 2,000 on the stream, people. Let's get that done. We've got Dizzy, Staffy, KJ. We've got Cameron. That's Canadian Cam. We've got Dizzy, Grizzy Don. And, of course, the Winter Surfer on the show as well. Coming through to have a little chat with us. Welcome back to the show, boys. A crazy game for Man United today. Brilliant comeback from Chelsea. And I want to start with Chelsea, actually. I want to start with Chelsea, Don, because it was a brilliant comeback. But I was thinking about this while watching your game. A lot of what you said yesterday on the top 6 come to fruition.
Yeah, definitely did. I think in the first half, to be fair, we were quite poor, Terry. I was seeing a lot of what I've been seeing this season. The ball was moving around quite slowly. Burnley actually had a low block today. They weren't pressing us as much. So they obviously respected us quite a bit today. But Sterling in the first half, got us that goal just before the second half. And I was saying it. I said, listen, these lot need to wake up in the second half because that was poor. Do you know what I mean? These are the sort of performances that I've been criticizing pretty much every fan cam that I've come on. But in the second half, things changed, man. We became a lot quicker on the ball. We're attacking with a lot more intent. We're creating a lot more patterns further up. Gallagher further up. He's just a lot better. He's just a lot better up there, man. Hats off to him because he actually got an assist for Sterling today. You know, Sterling. He was really good, man. I'd probably say he's our man of the match today. But Terry, I've got to disagree with what you were saying about it's just about us taking our chances, man. It's more than that. The chances we're creating now are more clear cut. Do you know what I mean? That's what I've been begging for. I've been begging for us to start creating more clear cut chances. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're bringing in guys like Cole Palmer into this team. And already he got a goal and an assist today. Do you know what I mean? That's what 3 assists already in 3 starts. So he's going to be a big player for us going forward, man. Cole Palmer is a baller. But today, yeah, it's good. It's good to finally come back from a goal down and to score 4. Listen, I'm buzzing about that. Buzzing for Jackson. Happy for Sterling. You know, he needs to carry on building that momentum as well, building that confidence in front of goal. And yeah, we move on to the next one. I'm not getting carried away. We'll move on to Arsenal now after the international break, innit? But it's always good to not go on a break with a loss. It's the worst feeling having to wait 2 weeks,
listen,
man.
I appreciate your opinion. For me, in the opening games where you were losing and you were looking scrappy, I just thought I saw Jackson hit balls over, shoot the ball over from 2 yards out in an open goal. You had some amazingly simplistic chances in those games that you just weren't taking, and then you were getting caught. The only difference I see between now and then really is you're taking these chances. And I agree, Cole Palmer has come in from that point and is performing better than some individuals. But even in that Brighton game, if you go back to the Brighton match, you were outplayed. You then scored and you became the better team. And since that one win, you've just got better and better. But as I say, I think there's scary times ahead for people playing your team. I really, really do. What did you make of, again, a player that was much maligned for a lot of this season? What did you make of Gallagher today?
To be fair, he was sloppy in large parts. He was definitely sloppy today. It wasn't his best game. It's not a game where I'm looking at it like, oh, Gallagher was amazing. But he had that end product for Sterling's goal. You know, Sterling, when he scored that 3rd goal for us, he was good in that position. But Caicedo is the reason why we ended up even getting the ball back. Do you know what I mean? He was the reason why we got the ball and then played it to Gallagher, and Gallagher just slipped it through. This is all I've been asking for from Gallagher. You know, he breaks down our attacks too much. If he can be, you know, effective in that final third, have that quality, I've got no issue with him. But if he plays like how he normally plays, then that's when I've got an issue. But today he was okay, I guess. He was okay.
I hear you on that. I do. We'll come back to some more Chelsea stuff and some more super chats in a bit. KJ, a massive win, a sensational win in terms of how it was done, but another very hard day in the office for Man United today. How are you feeling now, kind of 30 minutes since the end of that game?
Like this. It's a frustrating, it's a beautiful win when you win it last minute, 2 goals in the dying moments of the game. Like you love that. But then when that is on top of the way that we played, it just takes it away from me. It's like, for me personally, I'm happy we got the 3 points, but we get the 3 points and move on and focus on getting better, because that entire game, we weren't good enough for the most of it. We get to the final third, we have the ball, but there's not really much going on with it. We cross it in, hitting the first man most of the time, not finding our players. It's one of those ones where it's like we just need to improve. We need to get better. And personally, Ten Hag trying to make us play progressive football, I respect him, but for that. But you know what? Stop it. Let's stop doing it. Stop doing it. Stop pressing high. Stop the high line. Stop the possession. Stop it. I don't care no more. I just want to see goals and wins. And over the last few years, have scored the most goals and got the most wins when we play counter-attacking transition football. Now, where we as a fan base get sucked in is that all the other fans are there laughing at us, making fun of us, making jokes because we play a certain way of football. But when we were finishing second with Jose, when we were finishing second with Oli, when we were getting third and winning Carabao Cup with Ten Hag, we had the last laugh because we ended up atop of most of the teams that were making fun of us. Now we're trying to transition into this style of play, and it's just not working for us. And I'm tired. Personally, I'm tired. I would like to see us go back to more counter-attacking football because most of our players suit that way. And yeah, like, this win is good. Happy that we won. We've got some changes to make, and hopefully Ten Hag can change it because it's looking a bit sticky for him, not gonna lie. Like, honestly. Part of me is just like, just sack him, just get it over and done with. Not because I want him sacked, just because I know it's coming. Just get it over and done with. Rip off the band-aid now, and then deal with it then. But
Dizzy, do you agree with this? Should Man United change back to how we played last year, or should we continue with what the manager's trying to do, his identity that he's trying to create?
You know what it is for me personally. Today, I think I'll answer your question, but really quickly onto what KJ was saying. For me, today's game, if it come on the back of 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks of us playing dominant football, winning comfortably and playing very well, today would have gassed me. I would have felt on top of the world because you played terribly and then you managed to pull through and win. But when you're going off of we're 10 games into the season and we've lost 6 of them. Every game that we've won looks shaky at best. It doesn't feel great when you pull through despite your performance. But as far as what Ten Hag should do, I think, like you said, Terry, I don't know what system he needs to go with, but I think he needs to set out the store of, if you're playing badly, just like we did with the Sancho thing, if we're saying that United standards are X, and I will accept nothing less than United standards, regardless of who the player is, regardless of how important they've been to us. If they're playing badly, they need to sit on the bench. Regardless of their stature, they need to sit on the bench. If it's Rashford, if he's going 4 or 5 weeks without a goal, if he's dropping his shoulder, dropping his head, he's walking around without pressing his man after the first 25 minutes, sit on the bench. And it looks like he's getting increasingly frustrated with him. If it's Casemiro, if he's having stinker after stinker, come sit on the bench. And he's took him off today again. I think that's the second or third game that he's taken him off now. What's it called? If it's Fernandes and he's doing nothing for the whole game, come sit on the bench. That will make all the players out on the bench feel like I have a legitimate chance to get on this pitch. Because if you feel like you don't have a chance, regardless of what your professional standards are and, you know, how the quality of the player, if you don't have no confidence that your manager trusts you, you won't perform when you get on the pitch. And I feel like for the betterment of everybody, he needs to show that if you're playing badly, come sit on the bench. If you want a chance, go prove it on the pitch on game day and show us what you can do. And if you can't do that, then we'll see you later. That's how I feel.
Mate, I think a lot of people would agree with you. There is a lack of meritocracy at Man United right now, and everyone listen. And do you know what it does as well? It enables people to fan the flame of their agendas. So I don't think Rashford and Bruno are overtly bad footballers. I don't. I think they're playing poorly right now. What this leads to is I knew they were always this bad, and I don't necessarily think it's that. You should have took Rashford out of the firing line 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, and given somebody else. I don't really care who. I would have started Martial. I think Martial looked so sharp in the last 2 or 3, 4 games that he's come on. You give him an opportunity on the left, not as a striker. He's never been a fucking striker. He's fanboy's full set agenda. He never has been one. He's a left-sided attacker for me. That's where he's brilliant. But you are right. That was a bit that the performance per se didn't bother me today as much as the starting lineup did. And I'm I tell you, I'm not a starting lineup merchant. I'm not someone who normally moans about it. But seeing Onana, seeing Casemiro, seeing Rashford, seeing Bruno on the right, especially, seeing all of those guys start, I sat there and thought to myself, what the hell is he doing?
Bro, and you know what the maddest part about it is? At this point now, I feel sorry for Onana. Because you had the goalkeeping coach come out, I think it was either last week or the week before, saying, you know, this is a fantastic goalkeeper, but his confidence is absolutely shot. And we need to work with him to figure out how to get his confidence back. And
who comes in if you drop him, though? Who comes in if you drop him?
Here's the thing. One, I'll answer that question. He bought another He bought another goalkeeper this summer. If you don't trust him, why are you buying him? That's one. And then two, in the event that he makes a mistake when his confidence is on the floor, which invariably it is at the moment, and he has made a mistake again today, if we weren't saved from that game by McTominay, Onana is on the spotlight again for another mistake that he's made, and his confidence cannot do anything but go even further down than where he is at the moment. So I feel like the man management part of what I loved about Ten Hag when he first came in is missing at the moment, and I don't know how to fix it, to be honest, other than meritocracy, like you said.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Staffy, a lot of people came for you earlier on this summer when you spoke about Casemiro, and although I may not necessarily agree that we should I don't necessarily think that we should sell him because I still think there's a player in there. but he certainly shouldn't be playing for Man United right now. He certainly shouldn't be starting these games because although Onana's save was horrendous, it was Casemiro again that left us in a poor position for that goal. How frustrated are you at the same players that are underperforming continuing to start in this Man United team?
I'm glad you asked me that question in that way because I was going to come in and hold my hand up on Onana because, I mean, Dizzy said it perfectly. His confidence is shot. He's not that bad of a goalkeeper. I understand people like to banter. They like to make fun. He wasn't making these mistakes last season. To be very honest, his confidence is just on the floor right now. Should he have been dropped? We can have this conversation because he made a mistake. But I'm so happy that you said it that way, Terry. Oh, my God. The amount of hate that I've gotten since that Casemiro clip. If you go to my Twitter, I am so proud of that clip that I got abused for to the point that I pinned it on my Twitter profile. You can go there and continue your slander because I've gotten proven again that this guy on the pitch, this is not a disrespect to his legacy, by the way, and his resume and his 5 Champions Leagues. It's not what I'm talking about. For this team, he's not good. He's not doing what the manager wants. And today, yet again, he proved it. And this is why I'm saying when he came off at the second half, Ten Hag's usually stubborn. I was surprised that he did that. I was like, wow, finally Ten Hag is seeing some of the things that I was hoping that he sees. And he did it perfectly today. Took him out, played Eriksen. I'm more than happy to play Eriksen for 45 minutes. I keep saying this, and I'll say it again. Casemiro, brilliant player, brilliant career. But what we need in that midfield, he is not that guy. He's not that guy. Dizzy, after the 3-0 win, was waiting for me to give him props. I gave him props. But you know what it was? It was one-off. And he's back to doing his own thing again. He gives away the ball. Onana, yes, you put me in the mud for that save. But Casemiro, game in, game out, is proving that he shouldn't be starting. He shouldn't be a part of how Ten Hag is trying to play this football because he's not good enough to play that way of football. The more you give him the ball, the more he makes mistakes, the more we make these errors. And I feel like the more errors that are going around from our players, especially the experienced ones, is affecting everyone. Onana's already been infected. I'm hoping no one else gets infected after this because we're trying to fix him. I don't want more players getting infected with the low confidence. So after the international break, Casemiro, I love you. You can sit on the bench, bring your Champions League medals all you want. We're all 5 of them that people keep talking about. Bring them to the bench. I don't care. But after the international break, I don't want to see this guy starting anymore. He has a part of the squad for the rest of the season. In the summer, as I said, I'm going to call my cousins in Saudi. I'm going to try to hook us up with a deal. 60 million, 70 million, get this guy off. Thank you for the first season. Second season, you no longer have use. Kobe Mino in 2 weeks. You should be ready. Please save me, man, because I don't want to watch this horrendous midfield football anymore.
Dude.
I'm putting all the pressure on this guy because I already know that he could at least, you know what, Cam, if him making a pass in the midfield is pressure, then it's okay. I think he can cope.
Yeah,
because all I need is this guy to come in and just pass the ball in the midfield. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for goals. I'm not asking for assists. I'm not asking for man of the match performances. I'm just asking for a midfielder that comes in and you give him the ball under pressure and he can make the right pass.
Yeah,
that's it. So I don't think that's a lot to ask for.
Do you know what's interesting about it? It's like Casemiro is playing far too advanced for me. Last season,
he's always been like that, Terry. He's always been like that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but last season where he was sensational for us, this guy was sitting deep, breaking up play, moving the ball in. Again, we weren't playing the same way. He's now further up. And again, I didn't think Amrabat had an amazing game today, but I didn't think he was. Again, Amrabat improved when we made the subs and we made the changes and when we created more width and we were more balanced, like everybody. It's a team sport. But Cass, for me, if you're not going to play him as the 6 that breaks up play and then just play simple passes into the others, I don't.
But that's not what he's ever done, Terry. That's the thing. I don't mind him playing advanced. That's the thing. You think I have an issue with him playing advanced? I actually want him advanced. I don't want him.
It's the first phase of play that you don't like him in.
Yeah, he's not comfortable there. He's not comfortable there.
Because today, what was the mess up today? He wasn't bad today because he gave up the ball in the final third or he was too advanced. He was in front of our box and he made that mistake. And that's the place I don't want him in. Amrabat is good, but I don't think the more I'm starting to watch him, I don't think he's that good to do a 2 people's job, which is not a shame on Amrabat. Maybe he could become that eventually. I know, he's not that old and he's not that young, but he does have room to develop. In a year, it could be a very good lone 6.
What are you saying? You want him in the pivot? Are you saying you want Amrabat in the pivot?
Yeah,
well, technically today he was in a pivot, but
I didn't watch the game. I was watching the Chelsea.
He was in a pivot with Casemiro, and then Bruno was playing the 10, so we kind of switched it up a little bit. But Casemiro is consistently going to have these errors, and I don't think Amrabat can have all the load on his own for now. No, go ahead, Terry. That's just
the thing with a double pivot is this: if you play 2 players, and Man United have done this before, that are outright like DMs, then it can be problematic against the lesser teams. But what we actually did in games recently where Mount was part of a double pivot, but he was more advanced. He played more of an 8. That's fine. I think in games like today, if you play Amrabat with another central midfielder next to him, but the other guy advances and Amrabat just sits back and shields the back line, there's not going to be much of a problem. And again today, look, they're a great counter-attack team, Brentford. We all know that. They've lost Ivan Toney, so they ain't got the finisher. I didn't feel that threatened by them that often on the counter again today. I didn't. I weren't sitting there going, oh my God, every time they went forward, I wasn't. And by the way, we had not one first team defender fit today. We had Lindelof playing at left back, sorry. We had Johnny Evans. By the way, he actually had a really good game today.
Evans and Maguire. Both had decent games.
I just find it so funny, Terry. When Johnny Evans was in his prime, I was in secondary school, bro. Do you get what I'm saying? And this guy's back at your club. It's just hilarious.
I know.
This is the maddest part about it. Like, so considering all of that, I wasn't sitting there all the game going, oh my God, we're going to concede again in a minute. Now, when we were really throwing men forward towards the last 10 minutes, Onana was forced into some of those saves from corners, but you expect that at that stage of a game when you're throwing everything forward. But we weren't sort of sitting there like being peppered, and I weren't really worried, and that's why we could advance people. The other issue that I have with the way we're trying to play, and again, we're very static. We stand still, and I'm sitting there.
No run.
And I'm like, who's making? And again, Garnacho came on and he makes runs. Anthony, I know he isn't the best, but he tries to run off the shoulders. He comes deep for the ball. He's pointing where the other people should run. This is what's crazy. Exactly. Like, we need to improve on some of these people, but the manager for me is accountable for this because he keeps picking the guys that make us static. We look like we're stuck in the mud.
Real quick. Sorry, boys, because I do have to jump. It's Thanksgiving over here, and I think Steph might kill me if I don't get to the family soon. Sorry, I'm off camera. But I have a different view on like the style of play that I've been saying it's kind of possession for nothing. But one thing we've been saying over and over and over is that we want to see Ten Hag's style of play at least start being implemented. Otherwise, why'd we bring him in, right? And for the last couple of games, we have been dominating the ball. We're not seeing exactly what he wants to do because I agree with the staticness. We're too narrow. But as soon as Garnacho came on and we started to add some width in Antony, we started to see a bit more of what he wants to do. We're pumping in a lot of balls to our striker, and nobody's mentioned his name yet, but Rasmus Højlund looks like a player. I know he didn't get on the score sheet today, but every single time he tried to hold the ball up, made some nice turns. If he can just watch some tape with the team and the striker coach and just be like, one touch too many. Almost today, it was almost one touch too many almost every single time. He's trying to do a little too much. If he could just turn, get that shot away, and start really threatening, he's going to be an absolute problem because he is so strong with the ball. He is nice. He's got good feet, which I did not realize. Honestly, it's one thing I did not know about him. He has good feet, and I'm starting to see at least what Erik ten Hag wants us to do. When that second round came on, I think we do have to bench Rashford. It sucks, but he has to come off. Just the same reason, like Onana may be a good keeper, but we haven't seen it, so we have to see him benched. You have to see Rashford come off. Has to come on. And in those moments, for instance, where Martial had that shot, I think if a Rashford who's come on, who's fresh, who knows he's looking to score, gets the same shot that Martial had, he scores that because the pressure's a bit different. Right now, Rashford he's in three different heads. He didn't play. I don't think he played great, and I don't think he played terrible because I think when he was on the ball, he was basically our only threat for a lot of that first half, which is something we can't ignore. He just wasn't doing the right thing with the ball. He looked extremely good dribbling at guys. He put them under pressure, but then there was those moments where you're like, should have shot, should have passed. And you're just like, he's not going to get out of that until he sat down, in my opinion. But I think we're all hoping for Onana to be dropped. If he's not been dropped after all those mistakes, I don't think it'll happen, unfortunately. But one thing that
it's harder to drop your goalkeeper.
It's harder, but it's
eventually you need him to get.
I know, but it's crazy for me for people to say like, oh, well, he made those 2 saves. Well, guess what? We have a problem of if we go behind, we shrink. You need your keeper to save.
And that's why I think to be fair, the way we conceded is why I'm so one of the reasons why I was deflated. It's kind of like, again, it's from one mistake to another mistake to another mistake to comical defending to Onana flapping at the ball.
Before I leave, and I'm just going to say this, everybody needs to chill on the Antony thing because I know he's not everybody's cup of tea, but every single time he's played, we have looked better. I don't care what anybody says. At the end of the day, Every single time he's been in our team, we've looked
I'm
better.
just going to start talking about him. How the City fans talk about Grealish when he ain't getting goals and assists. Just going to say that he drags other players out of position and creates space for others. That's what I'm going to say because it seems to work. But listen, we do look better with him. You're right. We do look better with him because he creates the width. And listen, I'd love him to take more players on. I'd love him to score and create more. But we are a better team with him. Listen. We tried the Palestri experiment. That guy's not good enough for Man United. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. I want to do some super chats here. This one says Chelsea are back. Winter Surfer, do you agree? Are Chelsea back?
Back-to-back wins. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. Don't get drawn into that, Andrew. Trust me, bro.
You're not doing that. Sorry, move on. Yeah, not back-to-back. But good wins.
Igal said we would lose to Burnley. Arsenal next. Yeah, I mean, Igal, listen, he said he ain't come on to the last 3 Chelsea match reactions, which I suppose you're happy about, guys.
No, to be fair, he messaged me straight after the game. He messaged me before the game. He messaged me before the game even finished. He's like, "Oh, bro, I need you on my show tomorrow." So to be fair to him, he's not being shameless.
Fair enough. This here from Akil says Cole Palmer will be world class, better than the overrated Odegaard.
Let's just hold the brakes. He's playing very well, but let's take it one game at a time.
When I came on here, I was cooked. I said Cole Palmer is a very good signing, and everyone's going to see it this season. Oh, he hasn't scored a Premier League goal. What's he going to bring to this team? It's full of young players. There's no experience, bro.
I did read Terry. He's 6 away from equaling Mason Mount's entire open play assist record at Chelsea. He's already got 3
in 3 starts.
Yeah, we know about Mount. Big up United 2-1. Do you know what it is with Mount? Even today, like he had opportunities where you think I might score here. Yeah. For some reason,
you can't strike a ball.
I don't think he strikes bad. Everything he does gets blocked. I don't
this Pinnock guy, actually, now that you're reminding me, Ted, this Pinnock guy, he thought he was Rio Ferdinand. He thought it was Vidic. He thought it was Sergio Ramos. That guy got his head on everything. He put his body on the line, got every block. The Chelsea guys, I know you guys didn't watch it, but I promise you, go watch the highlights. Every single highlight in that game, you're going to see Pinnock block it.
Yeah, Pinnock was on a mad one today.
I know
Jamaica's best centre back. Let's flip and go.
Bro, I know they lost, and maybe
where in England was he born, KJ?
Somewhere in England, I don't know.
I am telling you, this guy looked like prime Maldini today. I swear to God. At some point, the commentators, I don't know if they say it, if it's the same commentators on Sky, but where I'm watching it, Pika, they were saying, is there more than one Pinnock on the pitch? Because everywhere we cross, we shoot, he was there. He was absolutely world class today. And by the way, big up to Maguire, because I rarely ever get to say this. Maguire today, I'm not gonna lie, the guy looked class. He was fine.
Even looks embarrassed saying it.
Listen, you might be laughing, but I swear, him and Evans. I know,
bro. It's that Leicester chemistry, bro. It's
2023. It shouldn't be starting for us, but they're absolutely class.
I'm gonna say this about Maguire. Listen, the biggest. Go back to what I said about one of them gone, because I felt that because of what's gone on and the confidence and the way the fans were on him, he'd be done at United. If he could get back to the form he showed when he first joined Man United, he's a very good defender. He's still not an £80 million defender, but he was first 18 months, he was very good at this football club, and no one will ever convince me otherwise. But look what happens when you drop someone, you take him out of the limelight. So even like rival fans last season and the early part of this season, whenever he touched the ball, would boo. You notice that because he's not been in the limelight for a while, no one was booing him today. This is, again, why you take Rashford out the limelight. It's why you take Onana out the limelight. Managing people and knowing what to do with them and how to do it. Something I listened to in the Beckham documentary. A lot of rivals, I'm not watching that Beckham thing. It's all Man United. Then you'll never understand. Like, the amount of times I talk about United and people don't understand what we're speaking about. You've got to educate yourself. Beckham said that when he scored the goal from the halfway line against Wimbledon, first thing Fergie said to him in the dressing room is, no interviews, don't talk to no one. And it was because the manager knew there was going to be this media onslaught to propel him to stardom. And it's like, we need to prepare you for this before you actually face it. The same works in reverse when it's negative. You have to know when to take players out the firing line. And if you, for instance, drop Rashford, and even if you need a goal for 2, 3, 4 games, he's not featuring, he's not around. When he eventually comes back in, as long as we're not still losing, which you might better turn around, the pressure goes away, and suddenly everyone isn't, because what's happening is I'm desperate for Rashford to score to get his form back. So everybody, whether you hate him or like him, there's a pressure on him to deliver, and he ain't coping with it well. And whether you like him or not is irrelevant. I just want Man United to win fucking football matches.
Yeah.
Super chat here says Chelsea just needed a shirt sponsor to start playing well. At the moment, Onana looks like a downgrade on David De Gea. He definitely needs benching. Big up is what Zane says here. Yeah, you gutted that you bought your shirt before the shirt sponsor, Don.
No, I actually wanted it like this because I like the classic look without the sponsor.
Oh, yeah. They look, all shirts look better without them. Yeah. Get in. I'm not moaning. We won. I was tired of losing. Today we won. Just fix it going forward. I like that. I like that, Ray.
You know,
I like
I'm upset, actually. I'm upset that the team broke KJ. When KJ comes on here and I'm more positive than him, that's when you know there's something wrong. They broke my boy. My boy came on here and he said paper over the cracks. And I actually disagreed with him. I didn't get the chance to talk about it. But my boy KJ...
Speak about it. That's what we're here for.
All right, so to KJ's point, I actually don't think it's papering over the cracks. I think...
I never said it paper over cracks, though. I didn't.
Wait,
I didn't
did you say
that?
that? Or what did you say? You said something.
I said it. I said it.
Was it Dizzy? My bad.
Yeah.
But you basically said, KJ, you're not happy. Like, you're happy with the comeback, but like you want a counter-attacking football. You don't think it's working. You basically don't like what's going on. And I hear you. But I think if you're being very honest, when you look at the performances at the beginning of the season compared to the last 2 defeats and today, technically it could have been a defeat. The manner of the loss was different. We were picking up points or losing points at the beginning of the season while purely playing bad, not keeping the ball. Now we're keeping the ball, but not getting the right result. We had 1-0 again. We lost 1-0 to Palace. We lost to Galatasaray that we should have never lost. And today could have been one of those. We're actually keeping the ball, so we fixed a few things, but still there's a few more tweaks that need to be happening. So like the front line as an example, we're keeping the ball. I think Dizzy said that you're keeping the ball without doing anything with it. And I think it's mainly coming down to the front three that we have. Yes, we looked a little bit better when Anthony came on, in my opinion, like Cam said, but it still wasn't enough. Rashford wasn't good, but then Garnacho was good. So you can tell that something could be changed there, and you're going to be a little bit more threatening. Also, the back line. I mean, every time we get someone back, someone's out. Someone in, someone out. And I think the minute we get a left back, today we had to put Lindelof technically as a left back, and we set as a 3 in the back a lot when Dalot was going up. So he has to accommodate so much to some of the absences that we have. So I am being very honest when I tell you this, and you know, KJ, that I'm very honest. I'm very critical when I say this, but I actually see an improvement. Even if we lost today, I would have still said the same. We are losing games and conceding goals down to individual errors, and that's not so much on the manager. Maybe you can argue the manager because he either bought them in or he chose to play them. You can look at it like that. By the end of the day, Ten Hag wasn't in goal, and when he didn't save that, Ten Hag wasn't Casemiro when he gave away the pass. Same as the Galatasaray games. When Onana made that pass, that wasn't Ten Hag who made the pass. When Dalot got bodied by Zaha, it wasn't him that let the ball bounce about 3 times. So you know what I'm saying? It's still individual errors that are costing him. But I think the manager overall, he is coaching games better than he did in the beginning of the season. And I think today, Amrabat being in the midfield reflected it a lot. Does he still need to change a few things? Yes. I still speak about the Casemiro thing. I think Rashford should be benched for what's his name, for Garnacho. You know, I don't even like Garnacho, but Garnacho, this is the 3rd game in a row where he comes in. He's doing one thing very good. He's getting the ball in the box. And I love that because he used to just cut and shoot. I used to hate that. He's actually doing one of the things that I always wanted him to do. So I feel like after the international break, we get a couple left backs back now to start there. Varane, whatever the hell is going on with him, he'll be back. And then the midfield gets fixed a little bit because Amrabat is in, and then you'll have options with Maino being back. Casemiro, I don't think he should start, but he's still going to be an option. You have enough options. I think this last-minute winner not only brings us up, the mentality's up, we're going to have the personnel to actually go on a run when we come back from the international break. Nothing crazy to push us to title runs and all that.
I get you.
But I think we go up from here. I think we've seen the worst, in my opinion, because of the injuries and all that.
You know what it is? Yeah, listen, if the players come back, like Luke Shaw obviously is a big miss, and then all the other players that are injured come back in our back line, especially come back, and then we play this way of playing and then start to improve. I'm here for it. But the reason why I said what I said is because I'm looking at it long term. I'm looking at just over the last how many years that we've been in this rut of being good, being bad, being good, being bad. When have we been at our best? And it's literally when we've been at our best is pragmatic, really good at transition, really good at counterattacking, using the space to our advantage. Right now, we're trying to play this possession-based football. Not enough space. A lot of our players like space. so they're finding it difficult. I'm just thinking long term, what would be the best to get out of the whole squad? Now, when everyone's back, that might change, but like I want Ten Hag to play the best football that he can, like I really do. But like, I also want our team to win games, and long term, I think that's probably the best way.
But KJ, you know what it is right now. I get what you're saying, but you're looking at it. You got to decide. You personally, I mean, it's up to you. I'm not saying say it to us right now, but you got to decide. Are you looking long term or short term? What do you think is more suitable for this team? Because the way you said it, it's big. You know, when someone like when you start going back to the gym after a while, and the first week is so hard, you're like, oh, after I'm so tired.
But you know.
I don't want to do all that. But then eventually, when it becomes a habit and you start getting fit, it becomes easier. The workouts are less painful. You're less sore. This is what we're going through right now. These are the growing pains. But you know what? Whether you believe in it long term or not, I don't believe in it long term in terms of we're all of a sudden going to become such a great team and we're going to compete for titles, because I still think we have an issue with our spine. But I think if you want better football with KJ, you have to accept some of these results.
I agree. I agree. You have to go through growing pains. I've been saying that Man United shouldn't sack Ten Hag, and we need to go through pain to get to where he wants to get to. But for me personally, it's very difficult for me to be like, all right, cool, we will 100% get through that. I'm not too sure. You know what I'm saying? And to get through the pain, I think the best way is to go back to what the players are just really good at. And you know, I'm not. People might say, "Oh, you this, that, and the third." I don't mind counter-attacking football. I don't mind it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's up to you to decide.
You know what I mean? The reason why it upsets people is because they don't like the word counter-attacking or pragmatic. I don't mind it, so I'm cool with it. If our players were more like, let's say, Tottenham squad, where they're literally naturally built to play a certain way, I'm cool with that. Our players, because it's so sorry, Deezer, I'll let you go now. Because our players are so molded into one like set play, and our club is taking so long to get through all the players we don't need to bring in the players we do need. I'm sitting there just like, yo, go do what we're good at, like do what we used to be good at, and then go from there. But
you know, like I said, was good, but I feel like the truth lies in between somewhere where what both of you are saying. I think at the top teams, regardless of how you dice it, whether you want to change your style of play, whether you believe in your philosophy or you're trying to move the team towards a direction or not, you have to win games. You have to get results, because at the end of the day, it's a results-based business. And if you go on a run of 6-7 weeks of atrocious football and losing games every week, you won't get the chance to implement your style of football.
Bro, look how he was jumping today. Look how Ten Hag was jumping today, bro. That man.
Yes, exactly. And this is my point. People keep telling me, oh, you're wrong to say he might get sacked. I was like, hang on. We lost 12 games in 62 matches last season. If we'd have lost today, to have been at 7 defeats in 11 games, how are you not staring down the barrel of being sacked? And I agree that we haven't been awful in all these matches. We weren't awful against Palace when we lost. I still can't believe we lost to Galatasaray, because we were actually really good in that game. But you have to win matches. I can take, again, if we'd have scored 2 goals at early stages in the game and won 2-1 today, most people would probably say we performed well, based on the possession, based on how little like clear-cut chances they had. We've got to take some of these chances sooner. Again, another game where 25 minutes into the game where we conceded, we've been the better team. If we'd have scored early, it would have been a different football match. So I'm all up for the manager implementing this style of play. And maybe what I said at the beginning of the video isn't completely right. Maybe it's not about him completely changing. Maybe it's adapting slightly. But the thing that is right is personnel. Because if Casemiro keeps making mistakes, Onana keeps making mistakes, if Rashford keeps drawing blanks, continuing to play them, and I understand the whole team's in form and Rashford isn't, keep playing him, get him into form. But when you've got 3, 4, 5 players out of form, you can't keep fucking picking them all. That's the insanity in this process, because you will end up sacked and then it all counts for nothing. You know, the manager's still got to make the right decisions here. Derek says Rashford, Casemiro, Bruno need to be dropped. Pellistri and Hannibal need to start the next 2 games. I'm not sure about Pellistri, but Hannibal maybe. Don, are you confident against us after the break, against the international break against Arsenal?
I'm definitely more confident than what I was last year. Like when we was about to face Arsenal at the Bridge and at the Emirates, I was like, yeah, it's gonna get long. it's going to get long, man. But this time round, I think we'll actually give them a game. We'll give them a game. We'll see what happens. We'll see who's available. But I think this will be a lot better for us now. I'm at the game as well. I'm at that game at the Bridge.
I think we go into it. It's all dependent on the injuries from the international games as well.
Yeah.
I think we go into it with more confidence, but they are favourites going into that game, no matter what. They are even if they lose tomorrow, they're favourites.
It's at the Bridge.
They've beaten us
It's
the
at the
last 3
Bridge.
times at the Bridge. So
they keep coming to the Bridge and collecting all 3 points. Last year they got a goal from Gabriel's set piece. Apart from that, they didn't really do anything, Terry. I'll be real with you. So now I'm actually looking at it, and we've actually got the players to give them a proper game.
I hear you on that. Nabil here says, what a clown take. Don't have patience on what this manager is doing, but praise Arsenal. Be consistent, you loser. I think he means Dizzy is right. Drop it if they can't perform. The thing is, though, Dizzy, when I started praising Arteta was when he started playing his attacking style, and it works almost seamlessly from the beginning. If Arteta was trying to play a particular way and was getting beat, ironically, when in the first 2 years where he was losing a lot, I criticized him. I only started praising Arteta when he started playing well and winning. So again, your point doesn't hold water. If we hadn't just lost 6 of our last 11 games and we'd won 8 or 9 of them, but we're still looking a bit sketchy, my feelings about it would be different, because I want the manager to succeed, but he needs to win games. He doesn't need to drop people. And it might just be an adaptation here or there. Do you know what? Maybe we need to sit the high line 5 yards deeper. That might help us. Maybe it is literally just changing the goalkeeper for a few weeks and dropping Rashford. No one knows the exact answer. We're just putting suggestions forward. But again, you calling me a loser because I've praised what Mikel Arteta has done. Mikel Arteta's style is working predominantly for them. They're generally speaking quite consistent. Man United have not been. But thank you, Nabil, for the super chat.
Nabil mentioned my name again. Flipping now. This, like, every flipping week he's got something to say. Nabil, I'm not going to address you that much because I don't like you. I'm just going to be honest. I don't. Your issue is you can't have normal conversations about your football club with people with different opinions. Learn how to do that, and then you don't have to call Terry a clown, and you won't have to call people losers and stuff, because you can converse. Me and Staffy didn't agree a second ago, and we're cool, but you always have to make it difficult. So please work on your conversations with people.
My favorite comment there says, Terry, your standards are in the mud. You should support Nottingham Forest. I don't really get what I've said where my standards are low. I want the team to improve and get better. I'm saying if the manager keeps losing games, he's got to be sacked, even though I know in the long term it isn't going to improve us as a football club until the owners go.
I think they're referring to, and I don't know why, but this whole thing now, you can't celebrate when your team wins if they don't play well.
That's a league gunner mantra. But this is the reason why, because I believe if this manager if you don't believe the manager is going to make the changes to make us better, then I understand winning the game is counterproductive. But I believe he can make those changes, and I would rather look. It's harder to be supportive of a manager when things are going wrong than it is to turn on them. It's a lot easier to turn and just say they're crap and then celebrate when they win, as opposed to ride the storm when you're being criticized when you're playing badly. But again, I still stand by this guy. And again, people say, well, you say he's going to get sacked. Again, me saying he's going to get sacked if he keeps losing isn't me saying I want him to foul and I want him to lose. Like, I don't want anybody on this panel to die. But you know, if Dizzy and KJ stopped breathing, they would die. That isn't me wishing death upon them. I'm just stating a cast iron fact. But that isn't low standards. That's just me being happy Man United won a game. But I still know what we need to do to improve. 110%. Two things can exist parallel with each other at the same time. One thing to the Spurs fan last week, take this quote, don't talk like a champ if you've never been one, is what Nav says here. Thank you, Nav. We need to go back.
Wait. I'll read this one. I'll read this one for you, Terry, to save yourself. We need to go back to being Brexit FC. That's Man United heritage. Having a black goalkeeper is always techie. Always a tricky one. Them know. Casemiro is so funny. Thank me later, Terry.
I'm not getting involved. Like, we know Hakeem, but I'm not getting involved in anything to do with that super chat.
He's calling Onana Mandanda, from Palace, yeah?
Yeah, man. He's calling Mandanda.
Mandanda.
I don't know what any of this means. I am oblivious.
Basically, there's this stereotype that black goalkeepers aren't the best, but you have
terrible.
I have never heard that before. That's nonsense.
You know, it's actually a thing.
How dare you, God? How dare you? How dare you racially profile people?
Just say thank
That
you
is
for the super
ridiculous.
chat
I'm
and
so offended.
Just say thank you for the super chat and move on. Step away.
A step away from the super chat. I didn't read nothing. I can't remember what it said. I'm very happy because if it was last season and we went down 1-0, we would have not been able to have come back up the Chelsea beans. Thank you, Daniel. That's very true. Guna George here, or George the Guna, says, what's wrong with all these kids going abusive just because someone else has got a different opinion to theirs? If you get triggered for this kind of stuff, have a glass of milk and go to bed. But you know what it is? I guarantee if Nabil was sat in front of me and KJ, all he would want is a hug and a photo. These man, the thing is, the tougher somebody talks online, the softer and nicer a person they probably are in life. And I don't know what's going on. I hope Nabil was healthy and well and got a great life. But I can guarantee you, Nabil would not speak like this to KJ's face or my face. 100. He'd want a selfie. He'd want a picture. He'd want to be our best friend. Can I come to dinner, please? He would probably tuck me into bed. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, at the end of the day, I don't take it.
Or in person, he'd have to give you a $5 first in person, and then.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't.
Live. Terry, we should do that in our next live.
I want to put it out there. I do not charge anybody to meet me. That is something I've never done. So,
Terry, we should do that in our next live event. Live super chat. So you give the money to the presenter.
Yeah, before you come and
I'm standing on stage, and you got to give me money to talk. It's like I'm a stripper. Put the £5 in my belt and then I'll talk to you.
At least it's not taxed by YouTube, Terry. That's all. You'll get.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I don't lose. I think that YouTube takes 50% of it. Impressed by Chelsea today. I hope we smash Arsenal tomorrow. Listen, one thing is, I know I've still got problems at my club, but I can sit down tomorrow afternoon, watch those games, and chill. That's going to be the nice part about it. Terry, I promise I wasn't trying to set you up. No, I know you. Listen, bro, I know you weren't trying to set me up, but I've been clipped on here before, right? Not long ago, like everyone knows about me and Jess. I touched Jess's hair on camera. Bruv, the things people were writing. The guy that put it out there that was attacking me, I messaged him saying, you know, that's my other half. He went, I didn't know that, bruv. I'll delete it. Don't worry. And I'm like, madness, bruv. Like, people clip things and see things. I know you weren't trying to set me up, but KJ just didn't want anything to happen. You know
what it is? I got a wedding to pay for. I can't lose my job. Yeah. If Tony goes down, I'll go down with him. So
Chelsea are going to beat Arsenal. I bet, believe it or not, is what Karen says here. Hi, Terry. Do you think the Glazers want to waste money for Ten Hag's sacking package? I don't think. Listen, they may not sack. This is ironic. They probably wouldn't sack him. But if they're not selling him, then they would at some point. If they're not. So this is the thing. They're only going to sack. They only would keep him if they're going to sell the club. So then you could argue medium to long term.
It's only a 3-year deal, right? It's only on a 3-year deal.
Yeah, they're looking at, but the thing is, they're looking at extending. It's a weird one. We Man United love to, you know what we love to do? We love to extend contracts and then sack him the season after anyway. So
yeah, we'll extend it now and then sack him in the summer or something stupid like that. We're mad. Look, I want to thank everybody for coming on the show today. Viewers, please hit the like button before you leave. Please subscribe. Back tomorrow with more content for you as ever. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.